Okay, we're going to start on page 1. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sangrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namane. Last one. Shri Krishna Lirakatane Sudaksham Adharya Madhurya Gunesha Yuktam Varan Varanyam Purushan Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasami. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Shri Keshava Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Vamanayati Namine Gaura Bhava Mayo Deha Ujvara Rasa Bhavaka Bhakti Vedanta Vamano Rag Bhakti Pravartaka Guru Damni Cha Sevasu Vaishnave Sarvadhamati Grante Bhagavate Sakshatko Sameverante Rati Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutare Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtata Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Acharya Simharumpine Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshavayati Namine Hati Marcha Charitraya Swashitanam Chapadine Jivaduke Sadartaya Shindama Prema Dayane Gaurashaya Vigrahaya Krishna Kamaika Charine Rupanuga Privadaya Vinodeti Swarupine Prabhupadantarangaya Sarva Sadguna Sharline Mayavada Tamoganaya Vedantartavade Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutare Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati iti namine Shri Vaishabhanavi Devi Dayataya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vigyana Varataye Namaha Madhuradvalya Premaja Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Verurapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Viragya Murtaye Vipralamba Sambodhe Padambojayate Namaha Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Godavir Bababhumeshvam Nirjesta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannataya Te Namaha Vanchakalpatirubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahaviranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaunatvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Surato Pangor Mama Manda Matergati Matsavasva Parambojo Radha Madana Mohanu Divya Brindaranya Kapadrumadha Shrimadat Nagara Simhasanashto Shrimad Radha Shira Govinda Devo Preshtali Bi Sevyamano Smurami Shrimad Rasarasarambi Vamshi Vatatatahtitaha Karshan Venu Swane Gopi Gopinata Shriyestuna Vrindaye Tulasi Devyaye Priyaye Keshavasya cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Would you like to lead for Guru?
Gurudev Kripa Bandudya. What page is it?
I think 32.
32, yeah. Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Karo He Dase Trinapekati Hina Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Sakala sahane baladiya karo nija mane spriyahina Sakala sahane baladiya karo nija mane spriyahina Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Karo He Dase Trinapekati Hina Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Karo He सकल समाना करित शक्ति देहनाथ जथा जथा सकल समाना करित देहनाथ जथा जथा तबे तो गईब हरि नाम सुखे तबे तो गईब हरि नाम सुखे अपराध हवे हाथ गुरुदेव अपराध गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया दासे त्रिनापेकातिहीना गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया दासे त्रिनापेकातिहीना काबे न कृपा लभ्याए जना कीर्तर्थ हईबे नाथ काबे न कृपा लभ्याए जना कीर्तर्थ हईबे नाथ शक्ति बुद्धि नमियाति दिन कर मरे आत्मा सथा कर मरे आत्मा सथा कृपा बिंदु दिया कर दासे त्रिनापेकातिहीना गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया कर दासे त्रिनापेकातिहीना योग्यता विचारे किछु नहीं भाई तोमरा करुणा सारा योग्यता विचारे किछु नहीं भाई तोमरा करुणा सारा करुणा ना हईले कंदिया कंदिया ना हईले कंदिया कंदिया प्राण न राखिब प्राण न राखिब गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करे दासे त्रिनापेकातिहीना कृपा बिंदु दिया जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा Who wants to sing for Vaishnav? Is there any other bhajan leaders in the room? I think so. You sing? Shall I move on? Okay. E bara karuna karo. Let me find page. E bara karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai Patita pavana toma bine ke honai
गोसाई पतिता पावना तोमा बिने के होना कहारानी कहते गेले पाप दूरे जाए हे मना दयाल प्रभु के बकोता पाए गंगरा पराशा हले पाश्चाते पावाना दर्शने पवित्र करो ए तुम्हारा गुना हरिस्ताने अपराधे तरे हरि नाम समस्ताने अपराधे नाही कोई दाना तुम्हारा हृदय सदा गोविंद विश्रामा गोविंदा का है नामा वैष्णव परान प्रति जन्मे करी आशा चरणे राधोली नरता में कर दया अपना रवारी एबरा करुणा कर वैष्णव गोसाई पतिता पावना तोमा बिने के होना जय वैष्णव गोसाई वैष्णव गोसाई जय वैष्णव गोसाई Someone else. Cornite?
Paramakaruna Pahundu Ijana Nitai Goda Chandra Saba Avatar Sarashiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda. Bajo Bajo Bai Chaitanya Nitai Sudrida Vishvasa Kori. Vishaya Chandiya Sera Semajaya Muke Bolo Hari Hari Dekore Bai Tribhuvane Nai Emona Doyala Data Pashu Paki Jare Pashana Vidare Shuni Jada Guna Gata Samsare Majia Rahili Podia Separi Nahilo Asha Apana Karuna Bunjana Shamana Karama Gaya Lochana Dasa Parama Karuna Bahudu Vijana Nita Goda Chandra Jaya Nita, Jaya Go, Jaya Nita, Jaya Go. Krishna. We're doing ashtakams tonight. Yeah.
Namami and keep running. 289 and then 285. Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam. It's all together. Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Sucharuvaktra Mandalam, Sukarna Ratna Kundalam, Sucharchitanga Chandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Sudirganetra Pankajam, Shikishikandamuracham, Ananga Koti Mohanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Sunasikagram Swachanda Danta Pantika, Navambudanga Chikanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Karenu Venu Ranjitam Gati Karindra Ganjitam Tukula Pita Shobhanam Namami Nandanandanam Tribanga Deha Sundaram Ajuti Sudakaram Amuya Ratna Bhushanam Namami Nandanandanam Sugandha Anga Sorabam Uroviraji Kostubam Spurachi Vatsalanchanam Namami Nandanandanam Vrindavana Sunagaram Vilasanugavasasam Surendra Garva Mochanam Namami Nandanandanam Prajangana Sunayakam Sukha Sukha Pradayakam Jaganmana Pralobanam Namami Nandanandanam Shri Nandanandanastakam Patitya Shradhayan Vita Tare Bhavavdim Dustaram Lavetarangri Yugmakam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Munindra Vrindavandite Triloka Shoka Harini Prasana Vaktra Pankaje Nikunja Vilasini Brajendra Bhanu Nandini Brajendra Sunu Sangate Kajakari Sasihamam Kripakataksha Bhajanam Ashoka Vrikshavalari Vitanamantapastite Malavala Palava Prabharunangri Komale Abhayaspurakare Prabhuta Sampadalaye Kajakari Sasihamam Kripakataksha Bhajanam Anangaranga Mangala Prasanga Bangura Bruvam Savi Brahmam Sasam Brahmam Tiganta Patane Nirantaram Vashikrita Pratitina Janandane Katakari Syasihamam Kripakataksha Bhajanam Tarit Suvarna Champaka Pradipta Gaura Vigrahe Mukha Prabha Parasta Koti Shara Dendu Mandale Vichitra Chitra Sancharam Shavalochane Kajakari Syasihamam Kripakataksha Bhajanam Madon Madati Yovane Pramodamana Mandite Yanuraga Ranjite Kalavilasa Pandite Kunjaraja Kama Keli Kovite Katakari Syasihamam Kripakataksha Bhajanam Sheshahava Bhava Hira Hirahara Bhushite Prabhuta Shata Kumbha Kumbha Kumbhi Kumbha Sastani Prashastamandahasya churna Purnasokya sagare Katakarisya sihamam Kripakatakshabhajanam Rinalavalari Kalangaranga Dorlate Latagralasya Lola Nila Lochana Valokane
Milan Manogda Mugda Mohana Shrite Kadakarisya Sihamam Vipakatakshabhajanam Vanama Nikanchita Trireka Kambukantage Trisutra Mangali Guna Trirana Dipti Diripti Salola Nila Kuntala Prasuna Gunja Gumpite Kadakarisha Siyamam Kripakatakshabhajanam Nitimba Bimba Lamba Mana Pushpa Mekalagune Prashastaratna Kinkeni Kalapa Madhya Manjule Karindra Sundra Dandika Varoha Sobha Goruke Kadakarisha Siyamam Kripakatakshabhajanam Aneka Mantra Naramanjunu Puraravastaram Samanjarajaham Savam Shanikvanati Gaurave Velala Hema Valare Vedam Vicharu Chankrame Kadakarisya Sihamam Gatakshabhajanam Ananta Konti Vishnu Lokanam Rapadmajachite Himadrija Pulomaja Virincha Javara Prade Apara Siddhi Nigda Satpadanguli Nokke Kadakarish Yasiyamam Kripakatakshabhajanam Makeshvari Kriyeshvari Sareshvari Sureshvari Triveda Bharateshvari Pramana Shashaneshvari Rameshvari Kshameshvari Pramodakananeshvari Brajeshvari Brajadipe Shiradike Namostute Iti Mamad Bhutam Stavam Nashamya Bhanu Nandini Karotu Santatam Janam Kripakatakshabhajanam Bhaveta Dava Sanchitam Trirupakarmanashanam Bhaveta Davrajendra Sunumandala Praveshanam Kadakarisha Sihamam Bhakatakshabhajanam Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Radha Govinda, Jai Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Jai Radha Govinda. Mahamantra? Damodaraskam? Oh, okay. Mahamantra. Madhamunga, would you like to lead?
Does anyone have the kartals? Can I? May I use the pair of kartals? Please. Well, thank you. I'm not very good at playing them, but that's okay. Do my best. Well. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bo! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna, Haribol. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasade Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasade Gaur Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Haribol. Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasade Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev. Haribol! Haribol. Hare Krishna. Haribol.
Oh, we didn't do art. We can do Arti. Arti? Arti. Who can make Pujari?
I guess we could do Arti. I could do Pujari.
You do Pujari?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it needs to be made.
Arti. Hey, Gadagraja. Do you think it's okay if we start singing the Arti while you're still making the plate? We are. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Bhajo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta If you need matches, there's some in the computer cabinet. Okay. There's a lighter. Oh, there's a lighter over here. Yeah. Madhusudan's got one, and there's one hiding in Navadweep.
Oh, yeah.
There was that the one hiding in Navadweep has ran out of fuel. It works or no? Okay. It's a Kartik miracle. Kibo Jayo Jayo Gora Chander Hadokti Kashamba Janavitata Bade Jagamana Lopa Dakshinita Jan Amegadadhara Nikate Advedashini Vasa Chakradara Kosi Yache Goda Chad Dana Simhasane Arati Karena Brahma Hari Devagane Nara Hari Hari Kori Jamaradunaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Gosha Hari Gaya Shankar Baje Gantam Baje Baje Karatala Madhuram Redanga Baje Godamarasala Koti Chandra Jini Padana Ujvala Gala Deshe Vanamala Gole Jalamala Deshe Vanamala Gole Jalamala Shiva Shuka Narada Preme Gada Gada Shuka Narada Preme Gada Gada Bhakti Vinora Deke Gora Sampada Arati Kadoye Lalitari Sakigan Marana Mohana Rupatri Banga Sundar Pitam Buddha Chite Pucha Chura Manohar Pitam Barasiki Pucha Chura Manohar Lalita Madhava Bame Brishapanu Ganya Nila Vasana Goni Rupe Gune Danya Nana Vida Alankara Kore Jaramana Hari Manu Vimohana Vadana Ujvala Vishakari Sakingana Nana Rage Gaya Kriyanama Saki Yato Chamaradulaya 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 Vishakari Sakingana Chamaradulaya Yato Chamaradulaya 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 Jai Shri Radhe 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 Chamaradulaya Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Shri Radha Madhava Pada Sarasi Jashe Vakanti Vinoda Sakti Pare Sukhe Vase Radhe 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 Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radhe 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 Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radhe 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 Radhe. Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe 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 Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Radhe Govinda Jaya Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda Jaya Radhe Govinda. Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Guru Dev Guru Dev Guru Dev Jaya Jaya Guru Dev. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Goda Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Goda Hari Bol.
Shri Vrinda Ki Jai. Ma Bhagwat Shila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Sachidananda Shila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Charja Shila Baladev Bijabhusam Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Jaya Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Namacharya Shala Hari Das Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshavarinda Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Antadweep, Mayapur, Samantadweep, Kodudweep, Madhudweep, Koladweep, Ritudweep, Janudweep, Modadrumadweep, Buddhadweep, Amika, Shri Navadweep, Tham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi, Govardhan, Radha Savanatmika, Shri Braj Mandala Tham Ki Jai. Tata Supavana Ki Jai. Shri Sham Kunda Radha Kunda, Tulsi Bhakti Jamana, Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Lalita Vishaka, Chitra Champaklata, Induleka Tunga Vijay Sudevi Rangadevi Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Ras Manjari, Guna Manjari, Labanga Manjari, Vilas Manjari, Ananga Manjari, Manjulali Manjari, Leela Manjari, Prema Manjari, Kastori Manjari, Champak Manjari, Mani Manjari, Kamal Manjari, Nayana Mani Manjari, Vinod Manjari, Raman Manjari, Vilas Manjari, Tyari Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Sudarshan Prabhu Ki Jai. Bhakta Pravarta Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigyam Vinasanakari, Shrina Shringa Bhagavan Ki Jai. Charidam Chari Sampradaya, Chari Acharya Ki Jai. Akaramat Shri Chaitanamat Ki Jai. Orananya Sakamat Samoa Ki Jai. Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Tribhuvana Mangala Hari Nam Maha Mantra Ki Jai. Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Madhav Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Ban Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Yeah.
Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasarkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yasoda Viyoluka Adhavamanam Paramristamantan Tato Juta Gopya Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Asakundalam Gokule Brajamanam Ruduntamaho Necha Yugman Mrijantam Kadramboja Yugmena Satankaneja Mahoswasakampa Shri Ekankakanta Stita Gaiva Damo Swami Bhakti Para Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Brajama Iti Drikswalila Vir Ananda Kunde Swagoshani Majanta Akyapayanta Tariyeshita Geshu Bhaktarjitata Puna Prematasta Satavrita Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Brajama Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Brajama Varam Deva Moksha Namoksha Vadimva Nachanyam Vineham Varisarapi Idam Te Vaponata Gopala Bala Sarame Manasyavi Astamke Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Brajama Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Brajama Idam Te Mukamboja Abhyaktanila Ritam Kuntalai Snigdha Raktaishta Gopya Moshamitam Bimba Rakta Jarami Manasya Viraksta Amlakshinaya Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Brajama Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Brajama Namo Deva Damo Tadananda Vishnu Prasira Prabhutuka Chalabdi Magna Kripa Dristi Prisyati Dinamatanu Kriyani Shamamyayam Edakshan O Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Brajama Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Brajama Kuveratmajo Bada Motyaiva Yadvat Vayamochito Bhakti Vajokrito Cha Tata Prema Bhakti Sakame Prayacha Namokshe Gao Mesti Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Vrajama Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Vrajama Namaste Sudhamne Swaradipidhamne Tvariodarayata Vishwasyadhamne Namo Radhikaya Tvariyapriyaya Namo Nantalilaya Namo Radhikaya Tvariyapriyaya 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 Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Nantalilaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Gurudev Jaya 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 Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaura Haribo Haribo Nitai Gaura Haribo Jai Shri Dhammadarastakam ki Jai Jai Yeah, for now. Sorry, I didn't realize there was more peeps. Oh. Yeah, I did, but maybe I can go more.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna louder.
Yeah.
Agyanam timirandasya Gyananjana salakaya Chaksurunmilitam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namah yang pravarjant tamapeta kritam dvaipayano virahaka tadua juhava putri taya taravo benedus tang sarvabhu taridayam muni manatosmi bhaktya vina aparadha lakshay chiptas kamadi tarangamadi kripamai tvam sharanam prapadyam brinde ste charana vindam tavaivasmi na jivami tam vina iti vigyai radhe tam layama charanantike angashamalim chatavirabhito mandi kritendi varam jadyam jagur rochi sambhagadatam patambarasya sriya vrindaranyanivasinam vidilasat tamabhiramodaram radhaskandhaniveshito jalabja jayamadamodaram jayamadamodaram. First, I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astota Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudevs, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astota Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj and Shri Srimad Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, to our grandfather gurus, Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj and Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to all of his divine associates and all the assembled devotees, and the assembled devotees Diksha Gurus, who are my Shiksha Gurus, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta, Madhav Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta, Ban Maharaj, and Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj. So as you know, today is the culmination of Sri Kartik month, or observing the month of Kartik. And so I thought tonight we would do a whirlwind summary. Did you go for the month? A whirlwind summary of where we've been and where we want to be. So Srila Gurudev said that we want to follow the 6 Goswamis who are always offering actually 1,008 obeisances every day. That means like flat down. Then you put a rock down on your head, where you're not on your head, but where you left off, and then you know where to continue. So they would offer obeisances to the pastime places, to the associates. Like, for example, we already said Rupa Manjari Ki Jai, Rati Manjari, Labanga Manjari, and the names of the Manjaris, the main Manjaris and the main Sakis. But we also want to offer our obeisances to Yasoda Maya, Nanda Baba, Rohini Maya, Vrinda Devi, Purnamasi, Kundalata, Nandi Mukhi, and other associates who facilitate the pastimes. And then, of course, we don't want to neglect the cowherd boys, starting from Baladev, Subal, Arjun, Gandharva, Vasant, Ujjvala, Madhumangal, Dam, Sridham, Sudam, Vasudam, Stok Krishna, Subhadra, Mandali Bhadra, and so on, as well as Uddhav, who became a resident of Vrindavan, though not a human one, but he was a human visitor. And then, of course, the disciplic succession from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Iswarapuri, Madhavendra Puri, Madhvacharya, Vyasadev, Narada, and Brahma, who is our Adi Guru in our disciplic succession. So then we went to all these pastime places. We went to the place of Krishna's birth and baby pastimes in Gokul Mahavan. It's called Gokul because there are so many goes. Gopes, gopis, goes, cows, vatsras, calves, and so on. And we went to Nanda Baba's palace, and also where Mother Yasoda was churning the butter. And also the place where Nanda Baba took Krishna and Balaram to bathe after Krishna knocked over the two twin Arjun trees. Then they came out as demigods and offered prayers to Krishna. Then we went to Kole Ghat. That means where the water of the Jamuna, when Vasudeva, not really Vasudeva, Krishna's father, but Krishna's so-called father or half-father, Vasudeva, was bringing baby Krishna from Mathura to Vrindavan, and he had to cross the Jamuna, and Jamuna Devi, the personified Jamuna River, wanted to play with Krishna. So she went way up high, and then Krishna touched his foot to her head, and then she went down lower again. And this is where the water went all the way up to Vasudev's neck, and he became very worried about Krishna's welfare. Then there's Raval. We went to Raval. We were fortunate enough to go there, which is the place of Radharani's birth, where Narada went just after she was born and told Vrishabhanu Maharaj, her father, that he wanted to do her astrology and also bless her. So he asked him to please go and get all the paraphernalia for the ritual. So while he was gone, Narada prayed to Radharani that please show me your original form, your youthful form as a 13-and-a-half-year-old. So she did that, and he saw Lalita and Vishaka and all of her associates, and he felt so much ecstasy. Then we also went to Akrura Ghat. Akrura is Krishna's uncle, and he was sent by the evil king Kamsa to go to Vrindavan and bring Krishna and Balaram back to Mathura so that they could be killed by the evil wrestler servants of Kamsa. So Akrura, who really didn't want to be in Kamsa's, well, everybody lived there. Who lived there was under his control. But he didn't want to work for Kamsa, but he took this as an opportunity to go to Vrindavan because then he would get to see Krishna and Balaram, Mother Yasoda, all the cowherd boys and girls. And so he went there in the evening, being in complete ecstasy, touching and seeing Krishna's footprints in the sand. And then he brought them back to Mathura, but he stopped at Akrura Ghat, the place where they went across the Jamuna to come to Mathura. And there he understood that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he saw Krishna and Balaram on the chariot, and then he looked in the water and saw them in their forms as Vishnu. And then he looked up at the chariot again and saw that they were still sitting here. So he could understand that he has many opulent forms. So then the original Krishna and Balaram, Vrindavan Chandra Krishna, he stayed in Vrindavan, and their expansions, Vasudev Krishna and Balaram, went across the river to Mathura with Akrura. Then we also went to Bhojan Stal, where there were brahmanas performing Vedic sacrifices, and there was some prasad on the altar of sacrifice that was also being offered. And so Krishna sent, because his friends were hungry, Krishna sent Balaram and the boys to the brahmanas to beg some food, but they didn't even pay attention to them. Then he said, because they were very disappointed, and he said to them, well, that's the way of begging. You don't always get what you're asking for. But go to the wives of the Brahmins. They'll certainly give us prasadam, which they did. And the wives of the Brahmins were in ecstasy to be giving this to Krishna. We went to Sri Sanatana Goswami's, and there are so many pastimes in relation to each place, but we're just running right now. Sanatana Goswami's Bhajan Kutir, when he actually lived in a cave, as many of the Goswamis lived in caves, all in seclusion, not afraid of animals or anything. And this is where he saw the Madan Mohan deity in the form of a young boy. And he actually saw this young boy run inside the temple and run into the deity, because he was the deity. And later on, the same Madan Mohan requested him to take him home with him, which he did, and then established a big temple. Then we also visited Chintahadana Mahadev, where Mother Yasoda prayed for Krishna's welfare, because she thought some ghosts were attacking Krishna, because Krishna yawned and she looked in his mouth and she saw the whole universe in there with all the stars and moons. And she thought maybe Krishna was attacked by a ghost. And so she prayed to this Lord Shiva right here, where we are. And now we're going to Kamyavan. There are 12 major forests of Vrindavan. So we're going to be running through all of them. Now we're running to Kamyavan. It's miles apart, but we're running very fast. And first we're visiting, and also whenever we're stopping off at any one of these places, we're rolling in the dust here and taking the dust on our head, heart, eyelids, and tongue. And so I'm not going to say that at each place. That'll take too long. But you'll know what to do. Now we're going to Kamyavan. Kam means desire. So anyone who goes to this forest, all of his sincere desires are fulfilled. And Van means forest. So the first place we're going is Bimala Kund, a very, very big lake. And we're all going to do Achman here. Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Naranaya Namaha. And we're going to jump in, swim deep in the water so that we can see the pastimes here. And then come out and dry off. And then Gurudev is telling us the pastime that King Bimal, he had thousands of daughters. And when they became of marriageable age, since in their past life they were the princesses in Janakpuri, and they wanted to marry Lord Ram. So when they were marriageable age, King Bimal sent a message to Krishna and asked him to marry them. And so he came and he married all of them and made them gopis and danced in the Rasa Leela with them and fulfilled all their desires. Then there are some deities here, like Govinda Dev and Vrinda Devi, because in Vrindavan there was a treacherous, I know, I was wondering what he was, what his title was. No, that's a Bengali. But he was like a king and very, very demoniac. And he was breaking the temples in Vrindavan. So they took the deities, the pujaris took the deities, first to Kamyavan on their way to Jaipur. And in Kamyavan, they took them off their chariots and worshipped them in different houses. And then they went on to Jaipur. But Vrinda Devi, who is the predominating deity of Vrindavan, they couldn't take her. And then there's Dharmakund. Dharmakund is the one of the places that the Pandavas stayed at while they were in exile. And very interesting. Like, can you say a couple of lines? That when the Yaksha asked Yudhisthira Maharaj, what is interesting? What's the news in the world?
The only news.
Close.
The only news in the world is that I'm frying in the frying pan of time has caught me.
He's so puffed up, he thinks he's the only one.
We're caught. Well, I don't want to speak for all of them.
You're speaking for all the living entities.
Oh, all of us living entities. Maybe not. Anyway, all of us living
Except
entities
the ones here.
are caught in the frying pan of illusion and allurement, being shuffled by the ladle of the months and seasons, and the fuel of day and night is constantly being burned. And yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. So there are many pastimes here of the Pandavas and Draupadi. And now we're going to Seta Bandhu Sarovara. Seta Bandhu is where the monkeys made the bridge for Ram to cross over the ocean to go to Lanka to bring Sita back from being kidnapped. And Krishna was claiming that he's God. And the gopis were challenging him and saying, well, then let's see these monkeys. You know, Krishna has many monkey friends. Let's see these monkeys make a bridge, which they did, but still the gopis never believe him. Krishna also played in the water. He played hide and seek. In Looky Kund, there are many kunds. We can just, without my saying anything, do watchmen jump in, swim, and jump out. And then we also went to Charana Pahari. When Krishna played his flute to call his cowherd boys and various animals, they all ran toward him. And when he played his flute, the stone, the rocks, all melted, because everything in Vrindavan is alive, and everything in Vrindavan, including the ground, all feel rapture. And so the stones melted out of ecstasy when they heard Krishna's flute. And they all ran to him. And then he stopped playing his flute, and then they all left. And so the only footprints of the deer, footprints of the cowherd boy, the flute, only goes in one direction, because when they all left to go down, Krishna wasn't playing his flute, so it was hard. The ground was hard. And we also went to Bojantali. Bojantali is where Krishna and his cowherd friends took lunch together. And there Srila Gurudev collects fruits from the devotees on the parikrama. And he cuts them up and offers them in this little temple there. And you can still see the impressions of the plates and cups there. Also in Kamyavan is Uchagam. We went to Uchagam, climbed up all those stairs, and went to Lalita's palace. And we circumambulated her palace and sang Lalita Astakam, 8 glorifications of Lalita Devi. And her young pastimes are also here. Like, for example, her youthful pastimes, like on Saki Giri Parvat, which is a hill there, and there is Lalita Vivaha Mandap, which means the place where when Lalita and Krishna were sitting together with all the gopis, some of the gopis tied a knot from his chadar to her veil, and they started singing wedding songs and wedding mantras, and then Lalita got suspicious, so she stood up quickly to run away, but she was tied. So the gopis had fun and games like that. They also slid down this little stone slide called Pishalani slide. And the red altar from their feet would sometimes come off on the slide. And if you look hard, you can see that red altar even now, 5,000 years later. There's also a temple of Dauji. That means when Balaram, Krishna's brother, is feeling great separation from Krishna, then he becomes black like Krishna. Those deities are black deities, and they're all called Dauji. So there's a Dauji temple there. And also Dehakund, where there was this poor Brahmana who approached Krishna for money. Give me money because I don't have a dowry for my daughter. So give me some wealth. Krishna said, my only wealth is Radharani, so I can give you her. And she, of course, got in a lot of anxiety. But the Brahmin also got in a lot of anxiety. He said, I'm in enough trouble not being able to have enough wealth for one daughter's marriage. How am I going to marry this one off too? So Krishna said, okay, I'll give you the equivalent weight in gold of Radharani's weight. So they weighed her on the scale, and that's how much gold Krishna gave him. So he was happy, he ran off with the gold, and Radharani was happy that she didn't have to leave. And then we went to Bibal Kund, which means that Krishna was experiencing extreme separation, and Radharani relieved him of that condition by going to him and saying, I'm here. Then also we went to this forest, one of the 12 major forests, called Madhuban. And there were pastimes in all the different yugas. Mahaprabhu came here in Kali Yuga. Krishna played with the gopis and the gopas here. Krishna killed, not Krishna, but who was it? Shatrughna Krishna killed the Madhu demon, and Shatrughna killed his son, Lavanasura. Very major big demon. He could go out in the woods and carry back big elephants and buffaloes that he would capture and kill. But he had this trident. No one could kill him as long as he carried his trident. So Shatrughna, Lord Rama's brother, he made sure he couldn't get to his trident. So Shatrughna killed him. And then he brought a deity of Lord Varaha to Mathura. Then this is also where Dhruva Maharaj saw Lord Vishnu after 6 months of austerities. We also went to Talavan, where Krishna and Balaram killed the ass demons. Balaram particularly killed the leader of the demons, called Danak Asura, or the ass demon. Whirled them around, because these demons were associates of the evil king Kamsa. And he whirled them around, threw them up on a tree. See you soon. And that's very important, because the ass is very stupid. Like he'll see no grass on the ground and think that he ate it all, so he gets fat. Then he sees a lot of grass in another place and think he didn't eat anything, so he gets skinny. And he always follows the she-ass for sex life, even though she kicks him in the face repeatedly. So that's ignorance. So Baladev, being guru, the original guru, or complete Guru Tattva, it had to be him who killed the ignorance. Then we also went to Kamudavan, where we went to Ditiya, which is the place where Krishna was gone from Vrindavan for 70 or 80 years. And then after he killing many demons, and after he killed Hare Krishna, after he killed Dantavakra demon, he came back to Vrindavan, or Mathura, and that's where he met with the gopis and all the Brijbasis. We also went in Kamudvan, we went to Anjanok, that is Radharani's friends were decorating her to go meet with Krishna. But then in the middle of all that, she heard Krishna's flute playing and then just got up and ran. So she didn't have any kajal on her eyes. Not that it matters, because she looks just as good with it or without it. And in fact, she makes just like Krishna, she makes all of her ornaments and beautiful garments look good. So there, when she arrived at Anjanok to meet with Krishna, he sat her down on a seat and decorated her in great ecstasy with this kajal. We went to Bijavadi, which is exactly the place where Akrur got Krishna and Balaram up on his chariot to leave Vrindavan, and where Krishna promised the gopis who were trying to hold on to the reins of the chariot. At this point, they didn't care who was looking. Usually they would have to hide, but at this point they didn't care. So this is the place where Krishna promised them, I will be back, parson, meaning day after tomorrow. But so many days after tomorrow went, and then they didn't see him for about 70 years, and that was in Kurukshetra. We went to the birthplace of Vishaka, that is called Kamai, and we also went to the birthplace of Lalita, that is called Kerala. Uchigam, where we went a few minutes ago, that's the place of Lalita's pastimes. We went to Shanki, which is the place where the demon Sankarchuda kidnapped the gopis, and then Krishna killed him and took the jewel, which was deep in his head, the Shamantika jewel, and gave it in an indirect way to Srimati Radhika. We also went to Umrao. That's the place where Krishna's friends coronated him the king of Vrindavan, and Radharani's friends coronated her. They wouldn't accept Krishna's supremacy. Radharani is supreme in Vrindavan. She's the controller. And so that is called Rava. So they had a back and forth between Krishna's people and Radharani's people. And finally, of course, Krishna surrendered. Then we also went to Koshi. Koshi means what? Who are you? So Krishna was knocking on the door to come and see Radharani. And you know, they're always joking about one thing or another. So Radharani said, who's there? Who are you? And Krishna said, I am who? So Krishna also means black snake. So she said, are you trying to bite me? I don't want any black snakes here. Go into the forest. And then she said, oh, beloved, I am Ganesham. Ganesham means he was the color of a fresh, blackish blue rain cloud. We don't need any rain here. Go in the forest and go anywhere else and make your rain there. Then he said, I am Chakri. Chakri means it's the name of Krishna. Prabhupada named one of my godbrothers Chakri. But it also means a potter. We're not having any marriages here. Go to some other village. And I am Madhusudan. Madhusudan's the name of Krishna, but it also means a black bee. Do you want to sting me or something? I'm afraid of bees. Don't come here. And then I am Hari, beloved. Hari means Krishna, who takes away unwanted things, but it also means lion and monkey. Do you want to scratch me? I'm afraid of monkeys and lions. Don't come here. So in this way, they would have jogging pastimes together. And here in Kokilavan, also there's another Charana Pahadi, where Krishna played his flute and the stones in the land melted, and so you could actually see and feel his footprints when you look around. Also, we went to Bandiravan. Bandiravan is, Yasoda would send Krishna's lunch out there to take lunch with his friends. And one day, because it's very, very dense, this forest, hardly any light coming through the trees. And so Nanda Baba took Krishna out to be with him when he was grazing the calves. And he was only about 5 or 6. And so all of it started to rain. And Nanda Baba got so afraid of, what can I do to protect my son? So he hid him in his lap. And it was so dark and so rainy. And all of a sudden, he saw this beautiful young girl, about 4 or 5 years old. And she put her arms out as if to say, give me Krishna. So Nanda Baba, Krishna's father, didn't know why this was happening, but he found himself just letting Krishna go. And of course that young girl was Radharani. So then she took him into the forest, and there he became 14, and she became 13. And there was a big marriage ceremony. Brahma performed the marriage, said the mantras, and Lalita and Rashaka and the other gopis were singing marriage songs. And then they went back to their young age, and Nanda Baba took him home. And as mentioned last time, this is one of the evidences that Jiva Goswami gave for unqualified followers who thought that Parakiya love, or the unwedded love enjoyed by Radha and Krishna, is perverse. So he showed them, no, they're married, you see. If you get married in Miami, you don't again have to get married in California. So they got married at this time. They didn't need to do it again. And then also, this is a place of the Manjutabi forest, where Krishna's cows, without telling Krishna, they roamed off looking for bigger and bigger grasses. And then Krishna's friends roamed off without telling Krishna, looking for the cows. And both of them, and both groups ended up in the Manjutabi forest, which was very, very high, dry grasses, and which even elephants couldn't get through. And so at that time, Kamsa, the evil uncle of Krishna, took the opportunity to set the forest on fire. And they were just burning hot. And so what do you do when you're completely helpless? Krishna. So Krishna immediately appeared there and told them to close their eyes just for a moment. And during that moment's time, Krishna swallowed the whole forest fire. And the boys, when there was no more fire, the boys and cows found themselves where they originally were before they ran off. And they were all taking their lunch. And the boys didn't think that, oh, Krishna's God, he's swallowing the whole forest fire. They just thought, oh, Krishna knows some special mantras, and he wants us to close our eyes so we won't see what mantras those are. Then we also went to Bhadravan, where one of the forests where Krishna goes cow grazing with his friends. And within the forest of Bhadravan, there's Matavan, which means, mata means earthen pots. So that's where they make their earthen pots for all of their big festivals. And a very, very important place is also there called Mansarovara. So when Krishna is dancing with all the gopis, and Radharani becomes angry that Krishna tells me he loves me the most, and I see now he's giving equal attention to everybody. So she ran off in a huff and went to this place, which wasn't called Mansarovar at that time. But when she wept and wept and wept, she wept a whole lake. Sarovar means lake. So that is called Mansarovara. Then another place we went to is Pani Gaum. In that place, Durvasa Muni was there, in this particular place. Ki Jai. And the gopis wanted to bring some food to the great sage, Durvasa. So they asked Krishna, how are we going to get across? The Jamuna is not low. And Krishna said, if you say, O Jamuna, if Krishna has never even looked at the face of any girl, then let us pass. And they passed. And then they gave all this big, big feast to Durvasa Muni. And he ate it all. And then, when they were going back to cross the Jamuna to Vrindavan, they said, how are we going to get across? So Durvasa Muni said, tell the Jamuna that if Durvasa Muni never eats anything but some durva grass, Hare Krishna, then you can get across. And it worked. So when the gopis went back to Krishna, they asked him, look, you never stop looking at women. And Durvasa Muni just ate a big feast. So how is it that we're supposed to tell Jamuna that he would never eat anything but grass, and that you never looked at any woman? So Krishna explained that I never do anything for my own sense gratification. I do everything for the pleasure of the gopis. And it's all in love, there's no lust there. And as far as Durvasa Muni, he also doesn't identify with the body. So he just took the feast to honor it. But he never does anything material. So then we also left Bhadravan and we went to Vrindavan. And we did a lot of local parikramas there. Of course, we visited Jamuna Devi and did Achman on her bank and swam and came out. We also visited Kaliya Hrid. Kaliya Hrid or Kaliya Daha is the place where there was a very poisonous snake who was the enemy of Krishna's bird carrier, who's non-different from Krishna himself. That is Garuda. And so he stayed in that lake that was in the Jamuna, and just his breathing poisoned the whole atmosphere. So even the cowherd boys all became unconscious. And the only tree that was standing up there was one tree, because when Garuda came here, he was carrying a pot of nectar. That's a whole long story why. So he was carrying this nectar, and some drops fell onto the tree. So the tree didn't die when everything else died. And so Krishna wanted to save, because even the bees they were all fainting. So Krishna decided to kill this demon. And so he climbed up on the tree, flapped himself like that, like wrestlers do, and then jumped in and started fighting with Kaliya. And Kaliya was emanating fire from his mouth and poison. And for a while he had Krishna in his coils. Everyone was in anxiety. And really the only reason that Krishna did this whole pastime is because he wanted to have a Rasa Leela, or he wanted to dance with the gopis. So he called the gopis up once he released himself from the coils, and they danced together on the hoods of Kaliya. And then Kaliya realized his wives, who had been preaching to him for a long time, they were right, that his poison and fire turned into vomiting blood because Krishna kept kicking him on the head while he was dancing on him. So then he became a devotee. And then Krishna said, even though you're not going to be spitting out poison, still it's better if you leave here because everyone is going to be scared of you. So he sent him to Ramanakadweep, an island there in Fiji, actually. And so we also visited right next door to Kaliya Lake. We also visited the Bhajan Kuti, the place of bhajan of Prabodhananda Saraswati, and also his samadhi. And he's a very rasic devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One of his verses in his book Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi is Vasanti here. Yasha Kadapi Vasananchala Kelanota Danyati Dan Pavanena Kritardamani Yogendra Durga Magati Manusuranopi Tasya Namost Prishabhanubhuvo Dishepi. That is, Radharani is in one side of Radhakund. And she's angry at Krishna, so she refuses to speak to him. So he goes to the other side and laments. And then the air, because everything is conscious, fully conscious in Goloka Vrindavan, so the air decided to do some service. And so the air went under Radharani's veil and took some of the air there that was fragrant with her bodily aroma. And it sailed across the Radhakund and went into Krishna's nostrils. And then when Krishna smelled her fragrance, because just like Krishna is absolute, everything about him is him, including his fragrance. So the same thing is true with Radharani. So when he smelled her fragrance, he thought, oh, now my life is successful. I've attained Radharani. So this Krishna, which even great yogis couldn't attain darshan of his lotus feet, that very same Krishna thinks his life is successful by attaining Radharani through her fragrance. We also went to Nidavan, where Radha and Krishna sometimes spend the night. And if you go there in the morning, you'll see that their angwans are all messed up. Also, we went to Jadu Mandal, where there was an old lady who used to, what did she do? She used to grind spices in the grinding mortar to earn a living. And then one day, and she would always sing the sweet pastimes of Krishna. So Krishna was attracted, and one day he came to her and said, look, instead of working, why don't I just put my footprint on your grinding mortar, and then everyone will come and give you money to get darshan of my footprint. So that's exactly what happened. And she kept chanting the sweet pastimes of Krishna. Then we went through many gullies. Gully is like a narrow lane or a transcendental alleyway. So there's Prem Gully, Dan Gully, Man Gully, Guman Gully, where Radharani showed pride when Krishna was trying to tax her. What do you mean you're taxing me? It's my Vrindavan. You and your boys come here and wreck everything with your cows. We went to Sevakunj, which is that window to the spiritual sky over there, where Krishna's favorite activity is serving Radharani. We went to Keshi Ghat, where Krishna killed a big, big horse demon named Keshi. We went to Shringar Bhat, where Krishna is decorating Radharani's hair with flowers. He left everyone in the Rasa Leela, all the other gopis, just to be with her alone. We went to Imali Tala, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a sitting place. And what happened there?
Where the breeze moved really slow?
No, that's Dear Samir. When Krishna played his flute for all the gopis to come to Bangsi Bhat and dance with him, the air or wind, breeze, became so intoxicated by hearing the flute playing that it could barely move. And it became like a person who gets up in the middle of the night. You know, you're kind of walking like that, knocking into things. So that's how the air was. It's called Samir, slow. Deer means slow, and Samir means the air. But Imli Tala, Mahaprabhu, there was a tamarind tree there, and Mahaprabhu used to sit under the tamarind tree. And he would think of Krishna in separation and then become black. And this Imli Tala temple is right absolutely next door to where we stayed most of the time. That is in our Gopinath Gaudiya Math in Vrindavan. And of course we went to Bangsi Bhat, where Krishna attracted all the gopis to dance with him in the Rasa Leela. And we went to Gopiswar Mahadev, that is Lord Shiva, who by the mercy of Purnamasi Yogamaya became the gatekeeper of Vrindavan and Rasa Leela. We went to Gyan Godadi, where Uddhav came to give a message to the gopis from Krishna, where Krishna said, I understand that you're feeling separation from me, but there's no need to, because I'm God. You know, he likes to show off. I'm God, and I'm everywhere, and I'm everything. So just meditate on me, and you'll see that you'll be with me. There's no separation. So that message, the gopis ripped up into tiny pieces and threw it in the Jamuna, and then it sailed off and went into the ocean, all melting and shriveled up. Because they're not interested in tattva gyan about Krishna. They never believe anything like that. They can only see Krishna as the son of Mother Yasoda and their beloved. Then we went to so many prominent temples of the 6 Goswamis and other associate Goswamis, like Govindev, Gopinath, Radha Gopinath, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Vinod, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Shyamasundar, Radha Raman, and so on. We also, right in the courtyard of the temple of Radha Gokulananda, we went to the Samadhi Mandirs of Viswanath Chakrabarti Thakur and who else? And Lokanath Goswami and Narottam Das Thakur. Yesterday? No. We went to Anjanov, that was yesterday. And also yesterday in Kokilvan we went to Nadi Samadhi, where Krishna disguised herself as Shamari Saki in order to do some service for Radharani. And then Radharani was so pleased with, quote unquote, her service that she was going to embrace him, and then she realized that's Krishna himself, and then her man or Jalasanger broke. We went to Kailanvan there in Kokilavan. You remember the 100 holes in the pot? Where Radharani proved her chastity, because only the most chaste girl, if she fills this pot with 100 holes and the water doesn't come out, then that water could be poured by Yogamaya onto Krishna's body, and he would be cured from his disease of almost dying. We went to Brahmaghat, where Brahma begged forgiveness from Krishna for stealing his calves and cowherd boys. We went to Akshoyavat, where Radha and Krishna wrestled, and Radharani, of course, won. Ki Jai. And when Radharani puts on her wrestling outfit and ties the sash, all Krishna has to do is look at her and he faints and loses. We also went to Vatsavan, which is the actual place where Brahma stole the cows. The calves. And then Krishna himself expanded to all the calves and cowherd boys, their bugles, their voices, their garments, their ornaments, their natures. Krishna became all of them so their mothers wouldn't worry that they were kidnapped. And then, of course, Brahma gave them back, realizing his big mistake. We went to Bailvan, where Lakshmi Devi performed thousands of years of austerities to enter the rasa dance. And then Krishna came to her and said, well, if you want to enter the rasa dance, then there are certain things you have to do. You have to leave your husband Narayan and marry a gop, and then you have to leave your husband the gop and go off and dance with Krishna. And you have to make cow dung patties. She said, I can't do all that. I'm a chaste Brahmani wife. So Krishna said, sorry, then you can't come. And we also went to Lohavan. In Lohavan, there's Durvasa's ashram, as mentioned. And also, Krishna performed his Nauka Lila there. Nauka means, anyone? Boat. So Krishna disguised himself as a boatman, and the gopis wanted to go across the river to get to the other side, to make donations of their butter and milk, yogurt, for the sacrifice of the sages. So they had these big pots, and Krishna invited them on his boat, but he said, but I have to warn you, my boat is very old and it has holes in it. But they were eager to go anyway. So once they were all in the boat, Krishna purposely rocked the boat, and it looked like it was kind of like drowning a little bit. And Krishna said, it's your pots. Your pots are too heavy, you have to throw them overboard. So they threw their pots. Then it still rocked. So he said, well, you have to throw your ornaments overboard. So they did that. Then he said, then you have to throw your heavy garments overboard. But that was too much for them. And then Radharani got so scared that because they were rocking so much, that Radharani held on to Krishna's neck for safety. And that's exactly why Krishna did the pastimes, because she's always saying no to his advances, and this way she embraced him voluntarily. We also went to Bahulavan, where we heard the conversations. Do you remember? We heard the conversations between Sukha and Sari, or the male parrot and the female parrot. And they were arguing who is superior, Krishna or Radha. And so they finally came, and you can see that there in that window to the spiritual world. You can see right on the right of Radharani's head, there are two parrots engaged in animated discussion. So finally they concluded that together they make the absolute truth. Vasanti?
I was wondering in your last few minutes.
I'm sorry?
I was wondering if in your last few minutes you could share about Narada's boon and what we do moving forward now that Kartik is over.
What about Narada's boon?
You can share about Narada's boon.
So Narada asked Krishna asked Narada, he was pleased with him, what boon can I give you? So Narada said, I want that anyone who hears your pastimes and goes to your holy places, that they will develop Krishna Prem very soon. So Krishna said, yes, so be it. So Gurudev said, so rest assured that anyone who's been on this Kartik Parikrama, that you will get Krishna Prem very soon. So, but all you have to do is now go home to your places and always remember all these things that you've learned from me. And then it will all come into your heart. So Vasanti wants me to spend a few minutes with you this evening, asking you all, what was your, Well, you wanted it, we could end it here. If anybody would like to share what your experience of the Miami jet to Delhi Kartik. Would anybody like to share? Is everybody shy? I guess everybody's shy, Vasanti. All right, and I'll just take 1 minute to say we've also been to Govardhan. We've also been to, We've also been to Varsana. We also went to Nandagaon, and we also went to Jawat. So we were so lucky this month. All right, so I'll end here. Are there any questions or comments? Nothing? Okay, Gaur Premanandi, Kartik Brat Ki Jai, Niyam Seva Brat Ki Jai, Uja Brat Ki Jai, Srimati Radhika Ki Jai, Radha Damodar Ki Jai, Brajmandal Parikrama Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Bo, 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 Nitai Gaura Hare Bo. And who was it who wanted the cake? Was it Madhu? Madhu Mangala and Srimati. They donated to have a big cake made for everybody for the end of Kartik. So you'll be having that now. The last one.